Anyhow, his voice was so commanding that I was in the studio with them listening, because in those days when the Wailers were recording, they didn't have much people coming there. They wouldn't allow nobody to come in the studio. They were a very special type of person where they didn't entertain people coming inside the studio. And when I heard Peter Tosh started his solo, I was so impressed. I just got to meet him like probably a month or two before. And he was so commanding. I started to wonder, what the hell is this? You know, his voice was so strong, powerful. I mean, if you listen to Bonnie and Peter, their voice was as strong as Peter's voice. He had a commanding voice that when you listen to him, you wonder, I mean, who's this guy? Anyhow, time went by and I started visiting the studios on occasion, some weekends again, and we started, I got familiar with Peter. One thing I noticed about Peter is that when he came to the sessions, I was fortunate to be there sometime before they started, he would go on the different instruments and start tuning the instruments. And I'm looking at this, looking at Peter, he take up the guitar, he tune the guitar, put it down, he go on the organ, he did his things. He went on the drum. Most people didn't understand, Peter Tosh played most instruments. He went on the drum and he started playing the drum. That time the other guy by the name of Malcolm, he was the drummer for the Wailers at that time, he passed away. He used to play the scatterlights too. So Peter would go on all these different instruments and tune them, and he took the bass guitar and he played the bass guitar. I'm saying to myself, what kind of human being is he? What kind of musician is this? But anyhow, time went by and we became 1969, I became the manager of the Wailers. That's another history, I can't even go into that, it takes so much time. So when I became the Wailers manager in 1969, we had this, Bob said he wanted a new label, so he's going to put away the Wailing Soul, because Wailing Soul wasn't getting much play at that time. They didn't have no 8 songs on the chart, because it was Red, Gold and Green label. Those who have a history of the Wailing Soul label, it's Red, Gold and Green, and 3 hands on it, it's Peter, Bob and Bunny. But the system at that time would not tolerate a Red, Gold and Green. They took a Red, Gold and Green label to RJ and GBC. It didn't go aside. As a matter of fact, they didn't have proper management at that time. So we started Tough Gum now. Bob said he wanted a new label, so we got a guy by the Todd Ricardo to do the logo for Tough Gum. So we decided, well, I said I didn't know about music business at that time. So this guy Gary was the man who really got me involved. How it happened, we were playing over some football over Mountain View side, opposite side of Excelsior. We should go at the evening time, but we should come at the evening time. So this was 1968. No, 69, the beginning of 69. So we used to go over there and play football in the evening. And Gary was the manager for a team called Real Mona. It was Leader United, just changed for Leader United. So Gary was the manager for Dynamic Sound at that time. And Gary had this experience of being worked at BBC and all the knowledge of the music business. So we were there evening playing football. Gary always played park of his car, and I said to Gary, you know this man? He said, of course I know who he is. He said, he's a good artist. I said, okay. So we were there playing every evening, and Gary said to me, Allan, why don't you go and manage Bob? I said, Gary, I don't know anything about the music business. He said to me, I can teach you about the business. I can teach you everything about the business. Bob hit me on the shoulder and he said, yes man, let's do it. I said, well, I don't know anything about the business. So what am I going to do now? He said, you have to come and play a season for me in the morning and I teach you business. Now, at that time, Santos, we were the champion football team in the country. So he said, I said, Gary, it's a serious decision I have to make if I'm going to leave Santos and come to Real Morning. It's going to cause a lot of problem, but anyhow, Bob said, come on, let's do it, come on, I need something. So we decided to go to Mona. We used to go there every evening now, and Gary started to teach me about business. So then came the idea that Bob said, a new horizon, Tough Gum. Did the logo, Tough Gum. I started knowing all about prime time, how many times you got to get plays, where you got top 10, top 20, everything. I knew the shots that made up the charts, everything. I mean, he taught me everything about the business. So we decided to start the label with a song called Trenchtown Rock. So we went to studios at Dynamics and we did Trenchtown Rock. And Trenchtown Rock became the best seller for 1970, sold over 40,000 copies. Song of the Year in JBC, number 2 song on GR charts. It stayed on the hit parade for 40 weeks. And we started rolling. Now, we started having quite frequent sessions because when this song got that type of promotion, they were starting making some money. They were workaholic. These 3 guys were workaholic. When I said workaholic, they would go to studios 5-6 times a week, and they would work, and they were professionals. I can tell you that. But the amazing thing about Peter Tosh, this is what I want to tell you about. Whenever we go have a session, if we had a session at 3 o'clock, Peter Tosh will be at the studio by 2 o'clock. We always try, always try, I'm going to say, we're going to go to the studio for Peter. We never, ever could go to the studio before Peter Tosh. We tried our best to say we're going to beat him. And Bob said we'll make sure we'll be the studio before Peter. We went there, Peter was down inside there playing organ, playing this tuning guitar, took Bob guitar, tune it, took the bass, everything. So it was hopeless. I mean, we had numerous sessions. When I say numerous sessions. And we weren't able, at no time at all, to go to that studio before Peter Tosh. It was amazing. He was a professional at the highest level. He was a musician at unbelievable. I remember we did a show at Nuggets for the Needy. Most of these people here remember Nuggets for the Needy. We had a show at Ward Theatre. I think it was the last time they had a show with Roy Lawrence as the MC. And that night, after the night, it was a Saturday night Ward Theatre. No, it was a Friday night. So the Saturday morning, we went back to the shop at Beeson Street and Kingston. So I said to Bob, I want you to tell me something. He said, what? Light as speak, he said. I said, oh, tell me something about Peter and Bonnie. How do you sleep? Bob told these people light it and he said, and blow his head. He said, Peter Tosh, one man with too much talent. Too much talent. I said, what do you mean by it? He knows the man. He plays every instrument. Every instrument. He knows everything. When the Mellotron came in, Peter Tosh. When the synthesizer came in, Peter Tosh. He had that gift. He was such a fantastic musician. I don't think I can ever put his equal any musician in this country. As in, put him on the showcase as I put Peter Tosh. He was brilliant. Brilliant. People don't understand Peter Tosh. If you listen to him in his pronouncements on tapes and things like that, you think that this guy's a monster because of how he comes over to you. But deep inside, if you get to know him, he was a sweet, charming young man. You'd never believe it. Of all the 3 whalers, Peter Tosh, in that period of time, was the guy who, when we were out in front of the shops on the daytime, people he would stand with sometimes realistic and stand up, and when the ladies were passing, Peter Tosh was a guy who knew how to approach a lady. Of all the 3 whalers, the other 2 were very conservative. Bonnie didn't speak much. Bob at that time didn't speak much. But Peter, when he just a young lady, she's going to stop. And I'm telling you, she's going to come back to the shop the next day. That's the type of person Peter Tosh is. He had that knock. And I remember Bonnie made a statement one time, and it caused a little frown in Bob and things like that. He said, I don't know if you understand, he said, fleshy dread. Fleshy dread meaning that he was what you call a girl's man. That's what he meant. So Bob came to me and said, Jubin said, you were Bonnie, I said. So I said, Lord that man, Bonnie's so grown up. But he would never talk to let Peter hear because if he said that and Peter heard it, it would have caused a little. So anyhow, he always said Peter and the rest of us were fleshy. But Bunny was at that time, he hadn't grown up, as Bob would say, he hadn't grown up yet. But Peter Tosh was that man. When he spoke to the young ladies, I used to let stand by him, I used to laugh. He had that knock. He knew how to address a lady. Because of how you hear him talk on the radio and things like that. When he spoke to a young lady, she's going to come back again. He had that touch. He was something special. My personal thing about Peter Tosh is that of all the musicians and of all the artists that I've been associated with through the years, he was really unique. I mean, listening to Peter Tosh and knowing the person who he was, it's a completely different personality. He was a man that anything he said, he meant it. He would talk about, I used to call him Mr. Legalites, by the way. We called him Mr. Legalites because he was the first, person in that time who would say, man, and I heard my speech. You know, we were driving a car going to the stage show. Peter Tosh would like that speech and we come to the police up. We said, Peter one said, oh, you know how they're going to say, man, if I lock me up, oh, God make this. Me now let it go. Peter Tosh, police come and said, so this speech for the boss. Me now hide it, because this, for free, that's how he spoke. And they let him go, but he had a confrontation one time with some police in Africa, you probably don't know about the history. Yes. Because he was bent on on what he said or what he meant. He was not going to throw away this paper, and the police went to him, but throw it. He said, me no, throw this, it caused that friction, and it got a little bit rough, and he went to jail for a couple of hours and went and took about the jail. But he was a man of conviction. And he was somebody, when he said something, he meant it. Amazing thing about Peter Tosh, he was a Pan-Africanist. And he understood the history of where he was coming from. And he never forget, he always lived the life and remember his past. Whenever you talking about Africa, Peter Tosh would get involved and he started quoting history, going back to days, I'll tell you, when the days of, he would talk about Marco Polo and those people, and he would say they are criminals. I remember he wrote a song about, you probably know what song I'm talking about. And he would say, these guys are criminals. And he should stop. He said, imagine these things, that these atrocities that these guys committed and the world accepted them. And imagine, there's so much great Africans that did so much for their people, and you never hear nothing about them. So he was, he was a convicted human being. He knew where he wanted, he knew what he wanted, he knew what was expected of him. And he kept on that line. He lived the life that he wanted to show people who he was. And he didn't care how you think about him, that's it. He was a real man. And I tell you, of all with due respect, with all the three whalers, I think he was the most pronounced of the whalers. He didn't hold back. I remember 1972 was the year we had just 72 they went to the play, they signed a contract with this Blackwell to do a 7 album with him. And they went on his first tour in England. But the conditions were poor. They didn't have proper water, it was cold, they didn't have heating system. Peter decided that he's not into that type of thing. I'm going home. But he joined him. And the tours about it. And it caused a lot of friction with himself and Bob and because I remember I was I went to Brazil that year and I got a letter from Bob. He said that, well, Peter, because he didn't like what was happening and he don't know what is the future of the Whalers, but when you come, we talk. So when I came home back, 73, where they said, we want to come to some conclusion with Chris Blackwell. So they said, well, you're still the manager. Let us call a meeting with Blackwell. So we asked Blackwell to have a meeting at Hopewood at the time. So the four of us went to meet with Blackwell in his office. That time in Ireland office with us, 56. And we went inside there and we sat down and I started treating. I said, Chris, Peter and Bonnie said they're not recording no more for you. But I'm just saying that because that's what they say. So here they are, let's come to a conclusion. when Peter got up and when Peter started blasting, I think Blackwell was going to collapse because he was hitting him and he was hitting him and he was hitting him with words. And he was saying, you don't respect people, you don't respect us. Now you take a group like my group and you carry us to England and you start about the condition. I said, you don't respect us. But I think what really happened that time, at that particular time in history, is what Blackwell, at that time, Jimmy Cliff was our superstar. He was Ireland's top recording artist. And Blackwell was at that century, they were doing this movie, A Harder They Come. So most of the emphasis was mostly on getting that to repair ends. So he didn't pay much attention to the Wailers. He gave him £5,000 to do 2 albums. They did Catch a Fire and Burn Him. And then they didn't do no promotion anytime. The tour was well supported and all of that. So because I said he had other options. And at that time, I don't think he understood the Wailers, how powerful a group they were. And Peter started mentioning it at Bonnie Carter at the same time when they started jamming. Say, you take us for some whatever, and all kinds, not for public disclosure right now. And he said, and I was there, and he was, as a matter of fact, one interesting about what he said to Blackwell, he said, by the way, you're not Blackwell, you're Whitewell. How can a white man like this go? I'm sorry if I said it, but he said, how can a white man named Blackwell? And he started coming back, and Chris Blackwell was just standing like this, and he said, oh my God, I said, this guy look like he's going to crucify these guys for this. Because I know, I get to realize the type of person he was. And Peter was nagging and said, I am not recording no more for Ireland. Bonnie Carter said the same thing, but Bob Sidon was like, Bob didn't say nothing. So we came out of the meeting with an understanding that, and a matter of fact, what he said to it was amazing. He said, the Wailers is not mash up as people think. We are still Wailers, but I'm not recording for Ireland recording. Now here was another episode now. We had this show coming up. CD had this production for Anthony's morning for the Kingston complex, the opening of the Kingston complex. On his side and just neutralize everything. So Peter said to me, remember, we just don't mash up anything else with islands, we're out. So we did the Michael Jackson show, same thing we did the Stevie Wonder show. But the thing about it, every night after rehearsal, I would stay upstairs and watch the rehearsal. People would come to me and say, what time rehearsal, son? And you tell him, what time rehearsal every night? And they were there sitting beside each other playing. And they didn't talk to no, they didn't speak to no one. It was amazing. People didn't know. Bob was there, Peter was here, Bonnie was around there. Then they had family members, and they wouldn't pass a word. Not a word. If he wanted to know, as I said, when was the rehearsal, he'd come to me and say, listen, what time is the rehearsal? And he'd be there on time. But in the latter part, what happened now is that when it got to a stage where he had an accident in 1974, famous accident on the bypass at a creek where they had this, they were making the bypass at Creek, they had the new road. He had an accident, a very serious accident. And his girlfriend, the love of his life, he would call her, her name was Yvonne. She went in coma for like about 3 months in public hospital before she died. It took a toll on him because, you know, he would come, I remember he come to Oakwood and he would talk, and I saw it in his face, and I used to, you know, when he came up there, he was talking and telling about the incident, and you could see him. It's the only time I really saw him you could feel him. He was totally down, you know, because I think this was the lady of his life. I think I can probably say that. This was the lady of his life. And as I said, she was in coma for a couple of months. And I remember one morning I said to Bob, me and Bob and David was there, and David, and I said, Jackie, I said, Bob, put on your clothes. So I said, we're going public. So I looked for Yvonne. And we went down there and looked for her. At that time she was still on the coma. It brought tears to all of us eyes when we saw the condition she was in. So we came back up, and Peter heard, and he came up to Oakwood, and he was there, and I said, Bob, your brother that, do do what you're supposed to do for him. I said, what I mean? I said, give the man some money. And call Peter on the car and I'm going to sit and call him and give him some money. I said, Virgin, still virgin, you know. I love you, you know, but so I take off. Peter come out and went out and after she passed away like a month after, and it was a sad moment for them. I mean, regardless of what took place, you could see that the feelings among them was really something to behold, you know. With the expression, you know, in those days they didn't want to go to friend, and I said to them, Reggie, when we go to a funeral, man, come out of the bull. But that one didn't resonate with them. Peter went and after the funeral they came together and still talk. But there was something there that I think that Peter, Bonnie wouldn't say it, but I knew Peter well because we were the same side. I think Peter felt that if Bob had made the decision to move away, Bonnie and Peter would have gone with him. Now the two of them decided to say, they're not going back to this, to Blackwell. And I think Peter felt that he was betrayed in that sense that Bob Sir had gone the way they did. And I think it caused a little bitterness over the years. I'm afraid to say it, but as being the manager of the group and understood what was happening, I know it was there. Because it keep lingering, because I remember when Bob came to Addis Ababa and we went into the room, myself and went to this room. The first thing he said to me, he took off his shoes and showed me the incision that he got in the toe, because I remember when he started the first time he played football. And then he said to me, drop back his shoes, put on my shoes, and said, "Why I want Peter love the boy, I don't understand Peter look how he gets me." So I said, you know what? Forget that. When I come there, we talk to Peter, don't worry. Because I knew where he was coming from. I knew Peter felt inside of him that he was really loyal to him and Bonnie. But, I mean, history has how it went. And, you know, there's a thing called destiny. And sometimes when you look at it, as a man who was there, I sort of really felt it because I knew the love that was there and the individual. They were very talented people, but I mean, it was just, to me, it was heart-burning to know that this really went on for such a long period of time. One thing I can tell you, and it's very important, is that during the period when they were apart, anytime Peter came to Hope Road, I remember I was saying, somebody didn't see Bobby come and say, "Boy, your person coming on." I said, "Oh, that? The Great Touch?" He used to call Peter the Great Touch. I said, "What?" So come look. He said, "Man, come look for you, man. I'm not coming for you." So I said, "What do you mean coming for me?" "Coming for the whole of it." He said, "Peter, come and look for you. Long for see that thing." And I said, he said, "Give the man some money." And he go inside and come out and give Peter a check when he didn't have the cash, and Peter just hung him up and gone. And I said, "You graduate for life." He said, "That is true, but boy, sometimes it's something I can't tell you." But that's Peter. Peter's not going to hold back. Regardless of how you think, he's a man. And my father used to tell me one thing, I was a little boy coming, he said, "Tell a man the truth. If he doesn't accept the truth, he's not a man. But don't keep it inside." And Peter Tosh was that type of person. He's not going to keep it inside. He's going to come out and tell you, say, "Boy, this is how I feel. If you want to vex, you vex." And that is a quality man. To tell a man the truth, and regardless of what it may cost. And Peter Tosh was that man. He was a real man. And before coming down, I want to tell you something about Peter Tosh. I remember we used to have sessions where we called jam. We used to come together, musician. And Bob came up with this song called "Get Up, Stand Up." So Bob started, Peter, Bob, Bonnie, Wire was the organ player at that time, and found my card over there. So it was 5, 6 of us were there. And so Bob came with it, get up, stand up for you, right? And when they came to the bridge, I'm saying, where they gonna go now? Peter came up and started splash the rest of it. You probably know the song already. I'm gonna tell you, I was there to myself, am I seeing something? What is this happening? Because this is a smash. I mean, Bob came with the idea and started come jump on hills, and when the time comes on the bridge, Peter get up. And I said, oh my God, this is something else. And that became one of the years big song. Get up, stand up, Peter Tosh. What a talent, what a talent, what a talent. I'm so proud to have known the man, and I think he was special. Say what you want to say about him. Outside his pronouncement, he's a different man when you get in front of him and talk to him. He was warm, he was somebody you could talk with, and he was lovable. Especially the ladies. He knew how to speak to a lady. And that was the thing about Peter Tosh. That he was different from the other way, as I can say, without any cuts or buts about it. He was special. And Marley was special too, and I won't say that. Bonnie was special. But Peter Tosh was something special too. And the world should know that this was somebody who was ahead of his time. Peter Tosh was ahead of his time. And if you want to know the type of person he was, just come to a session and you see it, and it's not possible now, but having been there, so many sessions with him, and remembering the type of person he was, I can never forget of Peter Tosh. Whenever I listen to his music, I remember him, I vividly remember him. The man, you can never go to a session before him. It is just amazing. We tried it. I remember we tried it one day at RG. Me and Bob said, we're going to meet you for Peter. You know. I said, come. And we went there like about 45 minutes before the time. And we went there, we said, we have Peter. We have Peter. We go inside Peter inside a long time, still have the guitar on my shoulder. I said to Bob, we can't try it again because Peter come from so far and we come from so near. And we can't beat him. Let's forget it. Professional. Peter Tosh. So I could go on and go on and go on and tell you so much about this man. But time won't allow me. But I'm really happy that he asked me to come and say a few words about Peter Tosh, the ultimate. I was proud to have met Peter Tosh. I always honor him, I always remember him. And he used to see Paris as my father. And I used to talk to him about that. He used to laugh and say, yeah, your father come from Brisbane? I say, yes. I said, wow, food parish, you know. He was always proud of his background and things like that. And something that I want to share with you. When Peter came to town, Kingston, I want to tell you about Peter Tosh in Kingston. As a young man, when he came to Kingston, you know, the country boy, in those days, they're coming from the rural area. They come to Kingston. They had some guys who were, they call them bullying. And this guy used to take a set on Peter. They call him chat him out or something like that. But I wrote a song about him, maybe Mr. Chatterbox. He used to take a set on Peter Tosh and call him country boy, you can't sing. And the first time when they did Simmer Down, one of the brothers went to him and said, hey, you boy out here about countryman, you listen to that tune here. Because Coxon used to come in here and they used to play the songs before they were released and pre-release. And they called him to Fort Street and said, come hear the song now. And he said, the country boy, and he said, yeah, the country said, boy, I'm sorry. And became a friend of Peter. Because when he heard the song, he said, damn, I was judging the man wrongfully. But that's life, we judge sometimes wrong and sometimes we judge right. But Peter Tosh, live forever.
Yeah, man.